What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and I need you guys to listen and listen closely because what I'm going to share with you today is going to be we're going to, you know, continue our coding of these words, okay? But you guys will understand what I'm trying to refer to when I talk about these things, okay? But you got to listen closely because I do believe, and I've been saying this a lot on this channel, 2022 is going to be the pivotal year. And I really, really do believe that. And why do I say that? I say that because we're seeing morality, right? From the naked eye, you can see that all is not well in the world. And you're seeing crime rates increase dramatically, homicides, burglaries, etc. Things that just have exploded. Now, I do believe that when you look at the charts for the markets, right? If you compare the blow off top from the market in the roaring 20s, heading into the Great Depression, we have a similar chart today. The Warren Buffett indicator is well above 200, right? And that's more than twice. It's more than twice what it was, I believe, in the dot-com boom. So that's telling you where the market is. And people are just pouring their money, leveraging their money into the markets. Now, I'll get to that in a second, but I wanted to introduce that because you want to stay tuned in for this whole video because I'm going to lay down some things that you better start preparing for come here in the next year. Because I do believe that 12 months from now, we're going to be seeing a drastically different world. So here we see that Canada admits to, you know, falling 33 million devices during this whole lockdown. Okay, and they have a population of 38 million. So that's the almost the entire population. Now those 5 million who weren't tracked, who knows? Maybe they don't have phones, they don't have for whatever reason, or maybe people have multiple phones. That could make up for the 5 million or the discrepancy of the 5 million that we see there. Or I'm not sure. Anyways, so they're tracking it. It says the country's public health agency, right, did it to assess the responsiveness of the public during these lockdown measures. And it says here that the agency awarded a contract to this company to provide de-identified and aggregated data of movement trends. So they want to know how people are moving. It says this is from countries around the world. The evidence is coming from many countries around the world, and that was seen as a huge surveillance surge. And we know that the surveillance surge, initially started after 9/11. There was an excuse, right, to monitor people. And now we have the whole pandemic. So it says, I think, author David Lyon says, I think that the Canadian public will find out about many other such unauthorized surveillance initiatives before this is all over and afterwards. And the telecom giant TELUS wanted to, or was going to report the data to understand possible links between the movement of populations within the country and the spread of the turbulent variants, to say the least. And so you can go on and see more information on this. But what you see is ultimate control of a population. And I've been saying on this channel that it's not about health. It was never about health. And let me show you some reasons why. Here, I can't verify this, but here is a sticker, right? And if you're from uh, Canada, let me know if this is the case. But I've seen a lot of things like this where it says, I'm on the train to Montreal, and they make you wear a yellow sticker to show that you have taken the medicine. And if you look back on history in Nazi Germany, the Jews, they had to wear the stars, right, to identify themselves as Jews. Now, this is, if you're not being awakened to what's actually taking place by having people identify their status, which if you've taken the medicine, you're just equally likely to contract or spread the, let's say, the turbulent particle. Okay? And so this is what we're dealing with. And people are just so asleep. They're in slumber. Okay? Now, if you want to go ahead and check out some of the stuff I've posted, I'm not going to play it here, but you can go check it out. I tweet stuff like this all the time, and this is a very good explanation. Now, it's not a study, so I can't say that this is legit. But when you think about it and you hear doctors talking about, there's this doctor from Idaho, got his residency from the Mayo Clinic. He talks about white blood cell count and how he's noticed, and T cells. He's noticed dramatic reduction in these cells when he's doing laboratory blood work analysis. And so, folks, there's a lot happening. Now look at this. The draconian lockdowns, right? They're supposed to reduce all these measures were supposed to drastically reduce everything. But what we've seen in 2021 is that these medicines don't work. And you look at the confirmed cases, they are skyrocketing like crazy. Okay? Let me show you a video. Let me see. Watch this video. Okay? Look at all these cases. Straight parabolic. Straight. All these countries. These medicines and measures are not working. And you see, I mean, this is Australia, right? Okay. Now, moving over, I'm gonna move over. I'm gonna transition from the health aspect to the financial aspect. And there's this video. If you guys haven't seen it, I've shown it on this channel in previous episodes, in which the World Economic Forum is saying that what if your bank accounts were cut off or your access to money was cut off because of extreme weather? And they say climate change. And currently, you're seeing that it's snowing everywhere. It's getting cold. And there's an energy crisis, right? In Europe, and it will hit the United States, because if you see what's happening with these oil companies and natural gas companies here, the Biden administration is, I mean, they're doing things that are nonsensical. So, with that in mind, when we don't have access to those resources, those fossil fuels, that natural gas, when we have extreme cold temperatures. Look what happened to Texas during that ice storm in that surrounding area, that surrounding region. Completely, they were sent straight to the 1800s. They were literally living in the 1800s. Yeah, they had all these gadgets, but what good does it do if they don't work because you have no electricity? The source of energy has been cut off. So that's why it's extremely important for those of you who are able to go ahead and prepare accordingly, as if you were to go back, be sent back to the 1800s in terms of energy. So I showed a video on Southern Prepper, how he was making I saw it and I talked about it, how he was talking about how you have to prepare for yourself for a grid down as if we're living in the 1800s, and see in your area, if you look around, could you survive a grid down event? And could you grow your own food? Could you survive on, firewood, etc. Because folks, it's going to get serious, and let me point out why. And we're talking here about the financial aspect of things. Okay? Let me see here. Let me look for the tweet that I want. Okay. So, I should have pulled up the chart. But anyways, there is about 10 to 12% left in the stock market to reach the same blow off top moment that the Roaring 20s had. 10 to 12% in our current market. Okay? And that's about an average of what you would get in a year's worth of gains, 10 to 12%. So I do believe that next year we're going to finish off that 10 to 12%. You're going to see the crypto markets go up with it as well. But once we've reached that, the narrative has been set. And I think George Gammon nails it in saying, he says, I think you may see stock market go way up in next couple months as end of pandemic narrative continues, because you're seeing how they're saying Omicron is basically defeating the purpose of these medicines. He says, this gives Fed cover to raise rates after QE0. After market digests and realizes economy has been decimated, then sees impact of higher rates, downside could be big. And I absolutely agree with that. I think that you're going to see this last 10 to 12% rise in the markets, the stock markets, and you're going to see the crypto markets follow suit. But when people realize that the economy is in shambles, we're literally poor, and that it doesn't matter if the market is so high, because that doesn't mean anything. And how George Gammon always talks about a wealthy society is one that produces goods and services. You can't print your way out of this. So when the dust settles and people realize what's going on, you're going to see a massive, massive surge down. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I'm telling you, next year, like Kristalina Georgieva said, that medicine policy will become economic policy. So you may even see people being shut out of buying, of being able to access goods and services. And so this is what we're dealing with. And it's serious. And I can't put into words what's coming, because it's gonna be devastating. And I propose to myself that if I could just reach one person at a time before all this took place, so they could know, because information is very valuable, then that's all that matters. One person at a time. If we each reach one person at a time, we can make a difference, a cascading effect. And with that in mind, I just want to encourage you to keep on going. What's most important is those around you who you care about, right? And other people that you want to help. That's what matters. We're all here to help each other. And so I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. This is more a sobering video, but the truth needs to be said. It cannot be sugar-coated. It needs to be laid out plain. And so initially, people might hate what I'm saying, but later down the road, if they chose to listen, they will be grateful and thankful. So, without further ado, this is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.